So this is the track projects page. I'm going to go back home and log out, and I'm going to hand this over to Victoria, who will show you the working beta site of our system.
Okay, and now to demonstrate our beta site, I am going to walk through a simple use case. Now, a use case is simply a set of steps for a specific user in a system to achieve a goal. And so the goal for this use case will simply be to download a completed project. So here on our beta site, we have the login page to our system, and I will log in as an administrator. Now, upon logging into the system, you are redirected to the home page where you see the 6 main modules that have been described earlier in our presentation. Now, to view projects that are currently in our system, you simply click one of the 3 track links that are provided from the home page. Now, here I'm going to zoom into our track page. And as you might notice, we don't have as many columns on this page as we did in our functional prototype. This was to simplify testing as we tested this part of our system. But for this demonstration, you can see we currently have one project in our system titled Puns. Its project status is at 66%. We have 3 chapters associated with this very short project. And you can also see here a download column with some text that I cannot click on yet because our project is not at 100% completion. So to edit a chapter, I simply click the edit link next to the chapter I wish to edit, which will direct me to the edit screen. So now, to go back to the project, I simply go back to the track page. And now I will edit chapter 3, which happens to have no text in it right now. And so to complete this project, I will type in a sentence. And to save the text into our database, I simply click the Save Chapter button at the bottom of the page, and a chapter save message appears at the top of the screen. Now if I go back to the track page, you will see project status is now at 100% completion, and a download link is provided. Once I click this download link, a zip file is downloaded to my computer, and clicking this file, you can see we have 3 XML files within this zip file, 1 shelf file, and 3 chapter files associated with the 3 chapters in this project. Now, if I open up the shelf file, you will see tags associated with the overall project or book, such as the title of the book, the author, company, and chapter numbers. And now opening up the 3rd chapter file, you can see the sentence I just typed in for this demo. Now normally we'd have much more text than this, but for the purpose of the demo, I only typed in 1 sentence. And so now that I've given you an overview of how our beta site works through a use case, I'd like to talk a little bit more about testing. Now so far, we have focused our efforts on white box testing. Now, white box testing is testing done by users who are familiar with the code behind the system they are testing, in contrast to black box testing, which is testing done by users who are not familiar with the code behind the system. Now, as we test with white box testing, we use white box testing to test our functional requirements of our system. Meanwhile, black box testing is better suited to testing our non-functional requirements. Some of the white box testing we have done on our site so far include basic user interface testing, testing the basic conversion functionality of our site, testing the database functions, and testing the security of our site. And now black box testing we will use to mostly test the usability of our site, which include the simplicity of the site, the manageability of our site, and the satisfaction the user feels as they navigate through our site. And now, we are currently in a state of shifting toward black box testing, and as you can see by our schedule, we are on track to complete a final deliverable for our system to hand over to Anudip and iMerit by the end of the quarter. And so throughout this next week, we will finish the front-end implementation of our modules, complete black box testing, write the documentation for integrating our system into the Anudip and iMerit servers, review the feedback from our black box testing, and then finally, during weeks 9 and 10, we will prepare our final system for delivery.
Great. So what are the next steps for our project? Like Victoria mentioned, we'll be turning in our final deliverables and finishing our testing in June. After that, this summer, we're excited that a computer engineer will in fact be installing our system onto the servers of Anudip and iMerit. Through one of our university's fellowship programs, Radha Basu, pictured here on the left, has arranged for several students to travel to India and work with Anudip and iMerit. Here pictured in the middle is Elysia Chu. She's a fellow Santa Clara student, a computer engineer. She's sitting here in the room with us. She will be taking our project to the next step. Like we said earlier, we completed the first part of the process. We are creating an XML file. Melissa's job will just be creating a simple XML interpreter for the feature phone. So in conclusion, we're excited that our project will in fact be installed and used by the intended users of the system. We're also grateful we've had the opportunity to work with Anudip, iMerit, and the Frugal Innovation Lab. And we appreciate all of the incredible support we've received, especially from our Professor Figueira, our advisor, and the co-founder of Anudip, Radha. And we found out that publishers have already contacted iMerit, and they're excited and waiting to employ women using our tool to digitize their books. And lastly, one of our original visions with the project was that it would be used to create better education resources, books made through our site, and place them into the schools of the rural communities that Elysia mentioned. So we hope to be moving better education and jobs to hopefully change and impact lives. Thank you for listening to our presentation, hearing about a tool and a mission that we are incredibly passionate about. Do you all have any questions?
So awesome job. And I have to ask the obvious question.